Hello brothers and sisters, Cameron here. It's good to see you again. A lot of questions that I've been getting since... There's a big old bee over there. I'm walking this way. A few questions that I've been getting since I've opened and started the YouTube channel was, hey Cameron, what do you believe in now? What's your current religion? What God do you follow? You have to believe in something, and which religion has it right? Or what faith should I follow after leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses? Now, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I ended up growing up, finding out it was a cult, leaving, and lost everything because of it. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, check out my YouTube channel. I have a whole channel dedicated to this subject, and there's a bunch of other YouTubers out there that talk about the same things, or from Mormonism and Scientology and all the other viewpoints that are very similar cults. This video has been something I've been thinking about for a long time, and you may not want to watch it if you're Christian or religious or opposed to hearing other points of view. I'm sure that I'm not the only person that gets these questions that has maybe an extremist religious background. I can't be the only one that gets these questions, but if I am, I get these questions a lot. What branch of Christianity do you follow now? For about 10 months when I was waking up, I find it very hard and difficult to let go of Christianity. I didn't want to. I didn't want to believe that it was all a lie. I pretty much was in the process of finding out that just about every teaching that Jehovah's Witnesses taught was based off of a lie or a method of control. So I spent those 10 months taking my own time and going to many, many different Christian churches, including I went to many different branches of Christianity and even a LDS Mormon church, which is an interesting topic and a story for another video. To my surprise, you know, what we're taught growing up is that these other churches are filled with mean people. No, to my surprise, I found that they were very nice and, you know, well-meaning people. At least had the same kindness that Jehovah's Witnesses would have treated their own future members coming into the church. And also at the same time, I was reading books on escaping cults and the mentalities behind them. And once I started seeing the manipulative behavior like love bombing tactics, avoidance of questions, too much hate being taught, ignorance, just like these other churches in the JWs, I left. I asked the same questions that my Bible studies asked me. And unfortunately, they weren't just questions that Jehovah's Witnesses couldn't answer, but that these churches and Christianity couldn't answer either. The members, pastors, and people that visited these churches would all tell me things like, well, you have really good questions, and I too once had these questions, but I may not know all the answers, but the person above me does. And then they would just simply not follow up. They wouldn't give me answers, and they would usually end up inviting me to some kind of religious party and hoping I would forget, and then just accept their culture. And these questions weren't difficult. They weren't gotcha questions or questions that were trying to stump them. They were basic questions. I have a huge list of questions. Here's a few of them. One of them is, how long does God's anger last? Forever or not forever? I've got my notes here. According to Micah chapter 7, verses 18, and Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 4, states they're both correct. God's anger is forever and not forever. Next question, does God tempt people? According to Genesis chapter 22, verses 1, Abraham was tempted by God. But in James chapter 1, verses 13, it says God cannot tempt anyone or any man. Next up, can salvation be attained by works alone? No. According to Galatians chapter 2, verses 16, through Jesus and faith alone. But in Matthew chapter 19, verses 17, Luke chapter 10, verses 26 through 8, yes, if you want to enter heaven according to Jesus. And Romans chapter 3, verses 28 is no, justified through faith alone. But James chapter 2, verse 24 says that you'd be justified through not faith alone, but through works. Question after that, can you see God's face and live? This is actually a question that I asked the Jehovah's Witnesses that I approached at their JW cart in the mall. If you haven't seen that video, I have a link in the description below. Genesis chapter 32:30 says, yes, Jacob saw God's face to face. And so did Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, verses 7. There's a very, the music cuts off now, creepy ice cream van. In Exodus chapter 33:11, Moses also saw God's face. Oh, and don't forget the 80 elders of Israel. Exodus 33:20 says no, but John verses 1:18 also says that no man has seen God's face at any time or ever will. And 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 16 says that no man can or has seen God. I have a huge list. If you'd like to see a video about that in the future of this gigantic list that keeps growing of Bible contradictions, let me know, I'll make one. My questions kept coming and no one could answer them. And again, it just all followed the same pattern. Apologize, talk about how religion made them feel, talk about things, how they can't explain them, and then they'd straight up ghost me or just invite me to another religious party. For me, until these logical questions can be answered, it is very clear that the Bible is fallible, inconsistent, in contradiction with itself, and immoral for me to be shaping my own opinions around, as well as my future children's opinions around. So what did I choose? I chose freedom. I chose the freedom to explore all religions. What if Buddhists have it right? What if minimalists have it right? What if there's some religion I've never even heard of, or some book out there that can add more to my life? That is the more logical way of approaching faith. The moment that we subscribe to one viewpoint is the moment that we cut ourselves off from other people's viewpoints and opinions. And I personally would rather spend my life looking for answers and come back with many different answers so I can come home to a higher level of truth. Is there a God? Maybe. I mean, look at around us. Look at the earth. There's tons of evidence that points to us not being alone or that we were created. But at the same time, look at science. It has time and time again disproven the Bible many, many times. What if black holes are the entrances to other universes with beings that have figured it all out, that are happy, that have created us and letting us become our own thing? Or maybe we're just the experiment of some sick being out there who wants to see us suffer. Whatever the answer is, I'll keep looking. The best I can do is focus on myself, what I have control of, sharing my experiences, and trying to make the world a better place. One thing that I've learned is you can still have morals, be a good person, and not need God or a faith. The ability to think critically is what separates us from most of us, and the question of authority. In the end, this is just my experience, and I am still new at this. I'm becoming quote-unquote normal. As of August of this year, I've been awake for barely 2 years. In the meantime, I'm working on myself. I'm seeing a therapist. I'm working on getting rid of certain types of speech and mindsets and setting goals that I can attain. I'm taking care of myself physically. One of those goals is to become a filmmaker, something I was not allowed to do growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. Becoming the best storyteller I can to help businesses connect to the people that care about them, about who they are and what they do. Working with businesses that, matter, that care, that are making a difference in the world. And this is who I am at the current moment. At the end of the day, it's your life, and I'll keep sharing my experiences and what I've learned with you. The main thing is I just want people to have the ability to think for themselves. You deserve that skill set because you're a beautiful, strong, smart, and kind person, and you are a better person because of the shit that you've been through. I hope that message really just resonates with all of you guys. It's been something that's been on my mind, and I keep getting these emails, these Instagram DMs and comments on the YouTube channel about this very topic, so I thought I'd just talk about it and just share where I'm at the moment. And I know for a fact a lot of other XJW YouTubers feel the exact same way. But that's just me opening up and being a little bit more vulnerable with you guys and where I am right now. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. Would love to hear what you are exploring right now, whether you're faith-based or not faith-based, opposing view or not opposing view, open-minded, or maybe you think you found something that has the answer. Please share it below. Subscribe. Come find me on Instagram. Definitely follow along. I'll share with my adventures with you guys as I grow and we learn more about the real world together. Until next time, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video.